Metro got that fire, boy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Off the Post NHL podcast. I'm TJ. That's Mitch. That's Jeff. And today we got a doozy of a pod, my boys,
sir.
because the NHL season starts when? Today, my boys.
Let's go.
Today. So
We're back.
We're ready to get into it. And man, there's just so much to talk about. But before your favorite team can play an NHL hockey game, they had to make some tough decisions and let some players go. So let's get into some of these bigger players that if your team cut, they were claimed by another team. So Josh Mahura is to the Panthers. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but correct me if I'm wrong. But Connor Ingram is going to the Coyotes. Jared Tenorti going to the Blackhawks. And then two Capitals, Axel Vitali Johnson going to the Jets and Brett Leeson going to the Ducks. I'll just quickly touch on like my two Caps guys to get it out the way. Vitali Johnson, it's tough just because he was a young player that had a lot of potential, and he came up last year and played like some solid games. Like he was always one of those guys that I noticed and I liked watching when he was on the ice versus, absolute plugs like Daniel Sprong. But Brett Leeson is more of I think he was a little older. I could be wrong, but he was just a more of a physical presence, which it sucks to lose guys like that. But then you have Dowd, you have Hathaway, you have Tom, you have Mantha. Like it makes sense why you would try and send that guy down to the AHL. It just, he got claimed. It is what it is. But if you guys have any other names that I didn't say.
No, that was it for the claim players, but like the biggest one, the other one to me are kind of just like depth pieces. Like, not too
I think these are the more interesting topic is what I think I want you to bring up here, Mitch.
I will, but in a sec, but I wanted to touch on the one player that I was intrigued is Connor Ingram on the Coyotes. He actually has a huge opportunity here because obviously he was behind UC Saros, right? As a backup, he might even been AHL. He was going to be AHL because he was getting sent down, right? Mm-hmm. He had an amazing game in the playoffs. Good AHL goalie, has lots of potential. So I'm excited to see how he can play with Arizona. That was like the big one to me. I was like, yeah, that's a good pickup by them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. I mean, yeah, that actually was. It'll be interesting because it'll be. I'm curious to see how many games he ends up getting in. But yeah, other than that, that's really the only notable one for me.
Yeah,
but the more notable things was who wasn't claimed.
Yeah, there's a couple surprising names, really. The biggest one to me is Mike Riley by the Bruins. He's a really good depth defense, like third pairing, can play second pairing if needed, has very good underlying numbers, but it just really shows you where the league's at right now with the whole cap situation, that it's a good defenseman you could get for free, but people are like not doing it because of a $3 million cap hit, right? I'm surprised the Bruins are like sending him down. I haven't checked their lineups or anything, but I thought they would have been using him, but
maybe
I'm surprised like an Arizona or something didn't grab him to actually have some players and maybe even like a trade piece where I think he only has a year left or two where they retain a little bit of salary, could get a good pick, like one of the rebuilding teams. I'm surprised they didn't get him. Montreal also could have been good for him. I'm not sure what their cap situation is, but he's a good player, right?
No, like I agree. Like there's definitely teams that have money. Like although we talk about how every team is cash strapped, not every team is cash strapped. There's a team that could have picked up a $3 million for 2-year defenseman that is like we said, his underlying numbers are like really freaking good. But it's just a matter of like, I think Boston sent him down because I think they might not be able to afford it. Like maybe they'll be able to do some roster juggling like in a couple days or a couple weeks, however it pans out. But I bet they just couldn't afford him. And they were like, well, if we have to lose anybody, it'll be him. And I bet they're probably super thrilled with the fact that he somehow managed to slip through to Providence, and now they just get to, wait on an injury, and that guy's more than capable of stepping into your NHL lineup. So
yeah, the other one I was surprised about, of course, a big Leafs guy over here, but Adam Gaudette, he showed really well in camp, and the Leafs needed to send him down to be compliant, right? I'm surprised someone didn't pick him up because literally every single year the Leafs get someone claimed off of waivers, but I wouldn't even been surprised if he got taken. Like he had a really good camp. I think he'll light up the AHL, which I do think will be good for him, but I am surprised that someone didn't take a shot on him.
For sure.
Yeah, for me, I mean, Riley, he used to be an Ottawa Senator. So I can't believe, I think we got maybe a third or a second. I can't exactly remember what we got in that trade for him when we sent him to the Bruins. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by that too. He's definitely somebody that I thought there's quite a few teams in the league where he could probably sneak on to the top 4. You can at least test him there. You know, at least in your top 6 defensemen, you would have a guy like Riley. But I'm not sure. Yeah, it must have been a cap situation. I have to assume.
And one thing that I just wanted to touch on what you said, Mitch, is like, yeah, Gaudette was pretty, like, it was just, he looked like maybe we just zone in a little bit, you know, we're from the area, but he looked like he was like performing pretty well, and it was just a little shocking to see him go. But I wonder if teams around the league were sniffing out the Maple Leafs and they were looking at one potential battle but for a roster spot, and maybe they were waiting for someone else to maybe potentially get dropped. And I think if this player did get dropped, he would be swooped instantly up right away, instantly. And what a tease that was by me. So why don't we get into who that player is, eh?
Before we do that, TJ, I wanted to do a little podcast present. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're saying.
Just before.
I think I know what you're saying.
So, Jeffrey, to celebrate Arsenal's win, I got you a present, my friend.
You did not. No way.
I got you a present, and I get your reaction live on podcast here. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so excited. I honestly have no idea about
I got
this.
it beside me. All right.
Okay.
Means a lot to us Arsenal fans. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm never been more ready for anything in my life. Oh my God. No, you didn't.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. I love it.
Let's go. Prime fueling Arsenal's dubs, baby. But I do have a choice for you here.
Okay.
Because sadly, I didn't know your favorite flavor. And there was only 2 blues in the store. And I promised TJ would, and I needed a blue. So you got your pick between the tropical punch or the lemon lime.
Oh, lemon lime. That's my shit.
You're going to go with
lemon
lime?
Absolutely.
All right. So next time it will be here waiting for you. You got to come see the boys soon.
Yes.
But also, just as a little additional, TJ, we are going to run a taste test here. Because, you know, I had to drop the care package off of TJ.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's do it.
We both are got our Prime
got the
here.
Blue.
Prime, please sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, for real.
Legit. We don't have a paid promotion. I think you have to say that in YouTube videos, honestly.
Oh, no paid promotion, guys. Sorry.
No paid promotion. We're just trying out Prime because, I mean, I hate myself for losing to Arsenal, I guess.
TJ might become an Arsenal fan after if this is good.
Hey,
all right, TJ.
This might be the magic elixir.
So it smells good?
Shit is bussin'.
So we're going to give we're going to base it off of like Gatorade almost. So that's how we're going to rank it. All right.
Okay.
So, cheers are here.
Cheers. All right, let's get into it.
Yo.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Is it a hit?
It's not like Gatorade. Like, why do people compare it to Gatorade?
I mean, it's just a hydration. Bro, this tastes like candy.
This one does taste fire.
Probably just because, it's a sports drink or whatever, right?
I'm a little salty. I'm a little salty. They only had 2 blues because this blue is tasting.
Bro, I was gonna be super critical about it. I like it more than Gatorade.
I think I like it.
Bro, you heard it here first.
Like,
TJ, what's your take? Is it better than Gatorade?
I think it's different from Gatorade. So comparing it to Gatorade is like, it's hard because like I don't want to dog Gatorade. I think this is better than Gatorade, but I also do think it's kind of in a different lane, but it is so fire.
So it depends on who you are, because it is a little sweet. Me personally, I like that.
Me too.
But like Jeff, the amount of flavor this thing has, and it's like, I don't know if you've seen anything, but it only has like 2 grams of sugar in it. 25 calories.
This packaging is bare appealing too. Not that we're like doing an unboxing video, but it is. You got to give respects.
I'm very excited.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gassed.
Get your care package.
I'm giving this, TJ, a 9 out of 10. What's your rating?
Wow.
Steep. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. And,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
the only thing I would change is like, I think I'd make it. I was gonna say I think I'd make it like a little. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Like I might be in the same boat as Mitch because like this shit tastes like candy, and I almost just want it to be like a little more. Like
A little more what? Like you want it to be more sweet or less sweet?
more sweets.
That's
More.
crazy. See,
Bunch of
I was
it.
honestly gonna take the stance of maybe it's a little too sweet. Like if I was on a bench, like playing hockey,
Yeah.
maybe like 'cause, like it's sick to just sit and drink. But I don't know. I love it though. I
Yeah,
love
If
it.
it can help
hey.
you score second half goals at the Emirates Stadium, that's all I care about, baby.
But yeah, so that
Helps you
Jeffrey,
win North
this
London
will be
derbies.
waiting for you in Georgetown, my friend.
Can't wait.
So you need to come. You need to come see. Come see us soon, buddy. All right,
So
but
now
now
that we just sipped the blue Kool-Aid, it's time for Mitch's blue Kool-Aid segment.
there it
Leaf
is.
stock.
There it is.
What can we say, boys? Can we just plan the parade already? Is this the route we're going down?
I don't think about that. I don't know. I don't
No,
think.
I think you stole that from the Steve Dangle intro, if I'm not mistaken. I saw
maybe. I'm a big fan.
Steve
Big fan.
Dangle
think I
podcast.
got-
I saw him say
I
said
think I'm
something
coming
about a
with
parade.
I'm coming with a revolver clip loaded right now. Where you're like, what can we say? I think I have a lot to say.
Oh,
All
here
right,
we go.
let me hear it. Let the closet Leafs fans start off.
I'm not like dogging. I just think there's so much to talk about here. Like I just
All right,
think
let me hear
for
it. What
one,
do you want to
like
go with?
for one, it's like Malgin is just like
Yep.
that's the thing. That's the player I was kind of teasing earlier. It's just Malgin got the spot over Robertson, and that like we were kind of saying before, like if he were to be sent down on waivers, he's instantly claimed. So because Robertson can pass through waivers, that's why Leaf fans, you're not seeing Robertson in the NHL. It sucks. It plays in one guy's favor. It doesn't play in the other guy's favor, but not to say he didn't earn it. Like he 100% earned it. And I'm sure Robertson's going to find a way into this roster at points throughout this season. So
The one thing I will say is honestly, to me, I don't know how much you guys watch it, but they were very similar like fields. Like they were both kind of in the same tier. Like they both performed very well. Honestly, for me, maybe I give the little bit of the edge to Robertson. But like you said earlier, if Malgin's on waivers, he's getting claimed instantly.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of you give the guy the games, see if he can play against teams like actual players. Like, yes, it's just preseason. Don't get too excited or nothing like that. But I think it was the right move, even though I wanted Robertson on the team. Yeah, like I said, just give Malgin the 10, 15, 20 games, let Robertson light up the AHL. And then if you need to make a decision, you can either keep him as a healthy scratch, just in case you need him as depth, or bring Robertson up or do whatever. I think it was the right move by the Leafs.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And I mean, I think Malgin, you could probably feel more comfortable if you're Sheldon Keefe or even Dubas playing Malgin probably in a bottom six role than you would Nick Robertson, I'd say. So I think there's multiple reasons why it kind of fits into what they need right now. I don't know, because it depends.
He's not playing no bottom six. That was my next thing to talk about.
I think he's on the
top
second
six?
line.
Second line.
Okay, there you go.
The
Okay.
second line, I think
So this is my next thing to talk about. The top line, you can't touch it. Like obviously, it's Bunting, it's Matthews, it's Marner. Like no discussion. But yeah, this second line. So it's going to be Nylander, Tavares, and Malgin, just because this bottom six just looks so disgusting. But I want to get into that. I want to get into that after. I want to stay on topic here. So Malgin is going to play on the second line. Now, my question to Mitch would be like, could you see something like a Bunting happen here?
I don't think it's going to be to the same extent because one, he's not playing with Matthews and Marner, but two, like he's had great connection with Willie from the jump. And honestly, this is the best William Nylander I've ever seen. He played center in the last game, looked dominant, making good plays, looking big, but
he's big.
Thailander, you know what I'm saying?
Thailander.
He's strong on the puck. He's on, obviously going back. It's just preseason. You can't get too excited, but in my eyes, this is the best William Nylander we've ever seen. So who knows? They could light it up.
So then my question is, what's a successful Malgin season if he stays on that second line throughout the whole year? What would he have to do?
Are you talking about points wise?
Yeah, points wise, production.
I think anything under 45 is not cutting it. I think 45 to 55 is good. Anything above that is excellent. And
if he were to do 45 to 55, like that's putting his career, like his career path.
Yeah, at that point, the Leafs probably can't pay him after this.
It literally keeps him keeps him back on track to being an NHLer.
That's where Robertson comes in.
Exactly. Right? But he's got to seize this opportunity. And I think they're going to give him a shot. But like you said, if it's a flash in the pan, it was a great preseason. He looked good with Nylander. Now it's real hockey and shit goes south for him. Then obviously we don't wish that on any player. We hope that all the players ball out. But if that were to happen, the Leafs have Robertson, which is just like it's literally a missile in your pocket because the kid's got a rocket of a shot.
He's gonna light up the AHL. But the only thing I wanted to say one more thing about Robertson is I'm almost kind of worried about him getting disgruntled. Because he's had a bad go. I think he hasn't even played 82 pro games because of injuries. He broke his leg last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's he just kept saying from camp, I know what I've done. I'm confident in my camp. I'm confident in my abilities and shit. And it's just I wonder if he will just get tired of being in the AHL, say looking at his brother getting the bag. If he'll last I am kind of worried about that. So I hope the Leafs do right by him, get him in some games. You know what I mean? Be the first call up if somebody gets injured, kind of thing. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. But I hope he lights up the AHL and then comes up in the second half in some sort of role as well.
And to your kind of point there, it's just what more could he have done this camp? You know,
couldn't.
It kind of.
I'm pretty sure
that's what I think would sting him more than anything, right? But I mean, it is what it is. Because there's just not a roster spot on this Leafs team because this bottom six of Engvall, Kerfoot, and Yarncroc, Ashton Reich, Kampf, and Kubal. And I just want to quickly talk about how Ashton Reich, I don't know if you saw, but the Leafs made him the minimum of the minimum contract to the point where the Leafs have $4. They can buy one ice cap if they find 2 dimes on the street. Then they could buy an ice cap, one large ice cap. So that was fire. I thought that was so funny that it's all right, we gotta get you as low.
I saw Steve Dangle tweet. He was Kyle Dubas. So we're just signing him for $850, and then Brandon Pridden kicks in the door. Wait a damn second. Just all this shit, but it's the Leafs are cap wizards. I'm not gonna lie to you.
84996 or whatever it is.
On
I
the
think
decimal.
I think it's 84663.
And
then Robertson was 84667.
It's a
something like that,
bro. They have to do it.
But the bottom 6, bro.
The bottom 6 just looks like they're going to be very shut down, and also guys like Yarncroc and Camp at times and Kerfoot, Engvall, all these guys can just they're just spark plugs. You know what I mean? Those types of guys who just really can get a game moving in the right direction. So
I feel like people are underestimating the scoring ability of the bottom 6. Yarncroc, even though it's not crazy, he's been an average 15 goal guy. Engvall put up 35 points last year, played a lot of time on that fourth line too. And then there's Kerfoot, who everybody has already traded in their minds. Career high 51 points last year, no power play time. They can obviously they're not an elite scoring line, but I feel people are sleeping on yes, they are all good defensively, but they can also put the puck in the net. The fourth line more has the identity with Kubel, Ashton Reese, and Camp, where that's that's a shut down, grind you down line. They can score a little bit as well, but that third line could put up 35, maybe 40 points for Kerfoot could get 40, 45.
Kerfoot can.
Engvall could get 35, 40. And Yarncroc stays around 35 point. I think they'll be the same, which is good for a third line.
You could.
That was my point too. I was going to say that was my point too about Malgin, is because if you have a guy like that who's not used to playing top 6 minutes in the NHL, and you have a Kerfoot who, again, gets 0 power play time. He has a 50-point season. That's a guy I think easily you could slide up into the top 6 if need be, of course. That's if Malgin underperforms, or again, I think they like to mix and match quite a bit to the Leafs. So, I mean,
Especially
besides that
down.
top line, of course, and of course, you're going to have injuries. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah, even to just mix and match all those guys that are at the bottom of the roster. Because, I mean, you could really come up with some really interesting combinations. You could have like some power forwards with some really skilled guys to kind of shelter them and get pucks off the board to the center of the ice. You can have sort of an all skill line if you want. There's really a lot of combinations they can go with. And I think that's what championship teams have. And the more I've looked at the roster too, and the more we've talked about them, I think and you say it every year, but I think the Leafs have continued to get better, and it's definitely the best team that they've had, right?
Yeah. My only thing, I don't know if I'm tripping or not. Like, because like on paper, it's like, yes, ideally, like Kerfoot it would be a good player for that second line that you said career point year last year. But like in the middle of the year, their second line was terrible. JT, Willie, Kerfoot, they were terrible together. Like I found that Kerfoot and Willie work together when Tavares is not on the line, which is weird. Like I'm just saying that's what I've noticed. Like when he got injured in the playoffs against Montreal, I'll let you jump in a second. I'm just giving you an example. When he got injured in the playoffs against Montreal and Willie went off, that was the Kerfoot centering Willie. You know what I mean? In the preseason, it was like Willie and Kerfoot. But what do you got to say here, Teach?
So this is the thing that so if you live in Toronto, Sportsnet is a big thing if you live in Canada, and 590 is the Toronto station. So I was listening to 590 on my drive in. I guess I have to give a shout out because if I'm going to take their information, then I got to shout them out. So, and this is what these guys kept saying. They said it at 5 a.m. They said it at 6 a.m. They said it at 9 a.m. They said it at lunchtime. They keep saying that Willie and Tavares have zero chemistry, but they just have to play together because that's the way the roster's built. They just have to.
Yeah, kind of. Like I wouldn't say zero, but like
no, it's obviously an overstatement, but it's just like they've never shown anything that it's like, wow, they both make each other so much better when they're on the ice together. But it's like,
they have
who else are they gonna play with?
Because you can't break up. But those games are like 1 in every 9 or 10.
And what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna break up? Like, are you gonna break up the top line? No. Like, so it's like they just have to play together.
That's why last year, man, I liked Willie on the third line.
Mm-hmm.
Give the third line more minutes, give the second line a little bit less, but I liked separating them a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's what I've said to you forever, TJ. Could you people would, even the top teams in the league, like you're having a hard time beating the Leafs if Matthews, Marner, Willie, and Tavares are all playing their best hockey, but it never happens.
It never happens all at once.
Never. It's either Matthews and Marner carry, or they have a down game and Tavares and Nylander do good, or individually they do good, but they never have games where it's all 4 of them are just on fire, which is
so kind of I'll propose just a random, maybe you could call it a doomsday scenario. All right. Yeah. Second line is playing absolutely atrocious. They stink. Would you ever consider you pull Malgin out, you put Robertson in, you switch Marner and Nylander? Just because
Keith does it for game situation.
No, I know, but I'm saying let's say the Tavares has just oh my God, Tavares is on pace right now to have a 55-point season. Oh my God, William Nylander is going to have another just 60-point season. It's just not working. Would you ever consider it? Would it? What do you think?
You obviously consider it, but I think you have to do it with context. Where is the top line playing well? If the top line's doing good like last year, then no, you don't touch it, and you tinker with that third line. You put Willie on the third line. You do a Robertson, Kerfoot, Tavares kind of thing, and then you do you know what I mean? I think you tinker with the third and second line before you touch the first line, unless the first line is just doing mediocre.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. I just don't think you ever touch that first line as long as those 3 players are there, because I'm just assuming it's going to pan out the same way that it did last year, because no evidence that it wouldn't, right? So, yep, I I like that about the Leafs. The defense, it's kind of, the guys are beat up. I think the more interesting thing is like the two healthy scratches that they like kept on roster. If you want to touch on those, Crawl and
they sent them down.
Crawl.
They sent them down yesterday.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. So my bad, misinformation. But yep. So other than that, we got Matt Murray in net, Samsonov in net. We've touched on that before. Is Matt Murray going Wednesday night?
Matt Murray going to win the Vezina? Yes, but he is going Wednesday night.
Yeah. Versus
Murray, Canadians. So it's Murray and then Samsonov and then Murray again on Ottawa, I would assume.
So it's Murray, Canadians, Samsonov, Capitals, Murray, Ottawa.
That's what I would guess.
Oh, look at this, boys. We got 3 early games against each other.
It's a fun start. Man.
No, it's gonna be good for the podcast, good for clicks. We gotta clickbait this. But so yeah, is there anything else either of you want to touch on the Leafs before we move on?
I think that's it. I'm excited to see Giordano for a full season, and apparently they're starting Sandin on the right side. He didn't do great with Riley, but Riley's never been the best defensively. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm just waiting for Liljegren to come back, honestly, because I think that's when they make the Hall trade or something like that to clear up room.
Prediction for their first 3 games.
What do you mean? On lineups or
no wins?
Oh, wins first 2 games. I feel like in true Leafs fashion, the Canadians are going to go 0-8 in preseason and then come out and beat the Leafs in game 1. All right.
Okay.
I think we're going to beat Ottawa, and I think we're going to beat Washington. 2-1.
Well, I think they're going to be 1-2. I think they're going to beat Ottawa, and they're going to lose to the Caps, and they're going to lose to the Canadians.
All right, we'll see.
I'll go with them losing all 3.
Oh, let's go, Jeffrey. So comes in with the takes
from the top rope. Jeffrey comes in and he says that the Leafs are going to lose to all 3, including the Ottawa Senators.
Would you like to put your mic?
Tell me why.
Tell me why ain't nothing but.
You heard it here. Yeah, no, that's my take.
All right.
I just wanted to be different.
You got to tell me
devil's advocate.
You got to tell me what's so good about the Sens, bro. Let me hear it.
I think we've improved all around. We have Jake Sanderson coming in. We got Drew, got the Brinkat. I trust Forsberg. I actually think as much as people are maybe hitting the panic button, I'm not hitting the panic button yet because he had a great season last year, Forsberg. So I'm not super worried about him in net for us, at least for a couple months. I mean, I think he could hold his own. He played 30 or 40 games last season. He had a 917, 2.8, something like that. So he's pretty solid. I trust him back there. It sounds like Sanderson's going to start in the bottom 6. So I'm interested to see if he gets power play time. I'm thinking, and what I've heard is that he might be stealing Eric Bronstrom's power play time, or at least a little bit of it, to start the season. So I'll be curious to see that. I mean, he moves so well along the blue line. So I'm not saying it's the worst decision. And like I said, I'm just excited to see our new top 6 a little bit, see how those guys get going. And I mean, obviously I'm not sure how those games are going to play out, but hopefully we can gel pretty quickly. And I know Ottawa, I think they're in Belleville or something right now doing some team bonding before the first game. It. So, yeah.
Before we jump into the projected lines, do you have those on you, Jeff, or no?
I do not.
Okay, I can look them up here. But before we jump into that, I just want to put a little hole in your confidence here. Your team couldn't beat the Marlies. What makes you think you're beating the Vezina, winning goaltending, and the best team in the league, Jeff? What makes you think?
It was just, I mean, you look at our bottom 6 that game. It's nothing. It's okay. We'll be ready.
So, was there anyone who was like, do you know of that did not make the team that kind of surprised you, Jeff?
Looking at my names here, not really.
Ottawa just kind of had, it was kind of pretty set in stone from the start who were the AHLers and who were the NHLers.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody super surprising. I mean, Sanderson, there were some people saying that he wasn't going to make the team, and there were some people saying that he was going to make the team, and obviously he did. So
who's backing up Forsberg in Ottawa?
I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. We just signed him or just claimed him off waivers.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this in an earlier pod. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, no, was it Holmberg or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see, but
I don't see anything on a projected lineup.
Yeah, you guys might not have your projected lineups out yet, but I'm definitely interested to see what happens with Ottawa. I think Ottawa is going to be competitive. We've said this before. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I definitely think they're going to be right in that hunt, and anything's possible, especially if Forsberg can just keep them afloat and all-star Cam Talbot comes back and just leads the charge for the boys.
Let's see how Pinto does too.
Oh yeah, no, he'll be interesting to watch. And I was going to say the one thing I do know that I've heard of at least is that our first line rumored to be is Drew on the right wing, Tim Stützle at center, and Alex DeBrincat on the left wing, and that has me frothing at the mouth. Yes, so I'm very excited to see how that works out. And again, you can mix and match with your guys, right? You can throw in a Norris or a Batherson if you need to, Kachuk, whatever you need to do, you know. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, the Ottawa's power play too is going to be like so improved and like going into the season. Damn. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Ottawa. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're one of my more interesting teams to watch out for this year for sure. So moving on just quickly, I'll give you my Caps breakdown. So there wasn't really like anything that I can really touch on about the waivers because I mentioned we lost 2 players. We kind of got gutted, but the only team to lose 2 players. I guess we're just that deep. But anyway,
okay.
We look at these lines here that are just projected. I don't know how long they'll stay. Like this was just Tuesday's practice, but you know, normally it gives you a good indication. So we got Ovi and Kuzi playing with Connor Brown. So this is one of my notes. How on earth, Peter Laviolette, you're gonna have to come and write me a written apology. How on earth do you break up Brown and Strome, my boy? Brown and Strome were lighting up the preseason, and like, I don't know, man. Like when the 2 new guys come in together, I feel like they kind of like form a bond, and at least on like all of the Caps social medias, man, like you always see these guys like pregame, like they're the ones fucking like, you know, playing volley with each other like soccer, because you know Ovi's not there sometimes. Ovi's always leading that, but Ovi's not there, like Tommy's not there. Like the new guys are bonding, man, and I just hate to see them broken up. Maybe they'll go back together, but
what lines are they on? Like what separate lines?
So that's top line. That's Ovi, Kuzi, Brown. That's top line.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm getting into my second line now. So this is Strome and Mantha. But here's your biggest shocker. Is on the second line is Alexi Protas. So
the
they
6'7" guy.
They are saying we don't have Tom Wilson anymore. Well, Tom Wilson Jr., you are coming into the lineup.
You mean Tom Wilson Sr. with his size?
Yeah, literally. Jesus.
But no, last year he had a really good year, but I am pretty shocked to see that not only did he make the team, which was like kind of a question mark coming in, like, because, you know, he's battling guys like McMichael, he's battling guys like Hagelin, like those type of guys to just even be healthy scratches. And he just made the second line, like at least to start the year. But I liked a lot of what I saw last year. He's the type of guy who goes in the corner, he gets the puck out, and he showed he can shoot the puck. Like I think he had like 8 or 9 goals, like in limited games, like maybe 40 games or something like that, 30 games or less. But
how's his skating?
I mean, he's definitely not the fastest, but I wouldn't say that he's like, it's not like watching like Richie out there. You know what I mean? Like the guy can skate, but it's just like he's not blowing by people when he gets the puck, like charging into the offensive zone, he's shielding you away, and how like nobody can get around him, like, right? So he's got to use his size to his advantage in any way he can.
He's pretty mobile. I need the Leafs to call up Curtis Douglas for this Cavs game, apparently. Got the 6'9" guy versus the 6'7" guy.
Yeah, the Leafs literally have -2 people who can actually have a hockey fight on that roster. Like, you guys are going to rely on team fights only because we just need scrums. We're not dropping the mitts with anybody. Muzzin might. Yeah, Muzzin, but like, you're Muzzin.
they don't got fighters. They have like aggressive guys. I don't like Kubel is like pissing people off. Bunting's
I know, but
like, they don't have
if you're dropping the gloves, like you're gonna have to call up Curtis Douglas for this game. Because
even then, like Muzzin has so many concussions, he gets punched in his brain, is just gonna explode.
He better not fight this year. But
I wouldn't want to see it.
Besides that, on the Caps, like, Backstrom, that's why Backstrom's not on the second line. He's long-term IR. He might come back around playoff time, might be sooner, who knows. And then also Tom Wilson is long-term IR as well. I think he's supposed to come back like a couple months at least into the season. But on the last two lines, you got Marcus Johansson, Lars Eller, TJ Oshie on the third line, which is like, okay, so Protas and knock down Oshie, but I kind of really vibe with that because Oshie's still going to get his power play time in front of the net, like bumper spot. So I don't mind that. It could actually really help like a Lars Eller as well. And then Sheary, Dowd, and Hathaway, which is just, you never break up that fourth line until the end of time. We will never break up.
The one thing I'll ask you, because you're so upset about Strome and Brown. So what would you like to see the top six to be if you wanted those guys together?
Well, if I wanted those guys together, then yeah, I guess that's tough, man. You're either putting Oshie up there or you're putting Protas up there just to play the Tom Wilson role with Tom. Or maybe you could potentially move Mantha up to play on that top line and then have Brown play with Strome and Protas.
That's probably the best one.
Or you take out Protas and you put in my last notable about the Caps that I want to touch on. Conor Mcmichael is not going to start on opening day. He got bumped out by Protas, and there's nowhere in the bottom six because that's just the most veteran bottom six.
He's not waiver eligible, is he?
No. I wouldn't think so, at least. He's still on his rookie
deal. He's still ELC, I believe.
No, he's an extra. He's just an extra skater. Like, I think they're just going to probably... I don't know if Protas has a bad game, if we have a lot of old guys, if Lars Eller needs a night off, if Marcus Johansson, if TJ Oshie played, I think like 60 games last season. But besides that, I mean, it really is just like, all I really want to touch on is just like the defense quickly. We got Faravari, Carlson as our top pair, which is the same as last year. Orlov and Jensen, same top four, but then Gustafsson comes in from, I believe, Chicago, which I don't know. I'm not too high on Gustafsson. We have to kind of see how that pans out. And then TVR is on the last line, which I like TVR, but yeah, Gustafsson, I'm not too sure. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for the Caps. Are you up or down on them this year? Because I ranked them high. A lot of Caps fans are down on them.
Yeah, I think a lot of Caps fans are down on them because they're sad to not see like 43-19 out there, and it feels like, you know what I mean? It feels like a down year, but I kind of disagree in a way, because now I'm kind of like, I'm all the way in on the fact that our goaltending was so atrocious for us last year, and if Darcy Kemper can just be consistent, then I think even without 43-19, we got Connor Brown coming in, Strome coming in, and we do have like when I talk about that bottom six, I'm like, ew, like these are our dogs. Like, these guys are our veterans. Like, they're ready, man. Oh, I don't know. I think the Caps got a chance to make it out of the first round, which is a thing that I have to say finally again, because since we've won the cup, we have not exited the first round.
How long is Wilson out for? Because I'm looking at your cap friendly. You have zero space. Like, what are you gonna do? I thought Wilson was coming back like mid-season.
Yeah, he is coming back mid-season.
But then you're just gonna have to make a trade then, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, is that you have like zero space?
Is that like
cap space $0?
And I'm guessing that would be like, is that when you move Oshie? can you move Oshie? Is that when you move like Lars Eller and some other money? Like, I don't even know how you would fucking do that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't see a solution there, to be honest.
They got Eller.
It's Eller or Oshie. Those are the only two guys that you can really get rid of that have any sort of money.
There's no one really on defense either. A lot of your guys are like below.
It's top guys. It's top guys, or like it's Carlson and Orlov, or it's no money. You know what I mean?
Interesting. That is really interesting. They need to clear a $5.2 million for Wilson.
Is Oshie on his way out? Did we just reveal something about Brian McClellan's plans for the season?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not sure what they're gonna do there.
Yeah,
the Leafs obviously have to do the same thing when Liljegren comes back.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be intriguing. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But yep, I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm medium hype on the Caps, where I think we can win a playoff series if we're healthy enough going in, and if Kemper's playing well. I don't know if I'm gassed up like we're in our prime, ready to go win the cup, but you could convince me that if Backstrom and Tommy come back and we somehow figure out a way to make that happen, then and we're hot going into the playoffs, you never know.
I'm sure. Go on, Jeff.
I was gonna add that I will come out too, and I'll give another hot take here. Something that I've been thinking about for the last few days. Everybody seems to be thinking that the Pittsburgh Penguins are gonna do better than Washington this year, and I think despite 19-43 being out, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yes, if Darcy Kemper stays healthy, plays well enough, and your defense can hold up, that you guys will finish ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that's my hot take.
Man. No, I agree, man, because I feel like last year, like our team, yes, like we keep saying, like we don't have Tom, we don't have Nick, but besides that, like you're replacing him with Connor Brown, you're replacing him with Dylan Strome, which it adds offensive value for sure, and it helps your power play not fall off the cliff entirely. But other than that, like it just like I don't feel like yeah, you can say our defense looks like a little weaker, but I would say that last year it was pretty well those same five guys besides Gustafsson, and Gustafsson gets replaced by Kempny leaving to Seattle. So I don't think our defense was particularly bad last year. I think our goalies let us down. Like, if I'm completely being honest, they were super inconsistent. They had ups and they had very downs, and we'll see.
That's my only thing to add on to that. That's my biggest worry with the Caps is the backup goalie with Charlie Lindgren. Because like, unless you're running Kemper into the ground, like this guy has never been Lindgren. I'm talking about. He's never been a full NHL guy, right? Like, can you rely on him for 30 games? What do you mean?
Play Kemper like Brain Holtby 65 times, 70 times.
Like, is that smart? Is that smart?
No,
for like
it's not smart
30-year-old?
I'm just memeing, bro. I'm just memeing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, did you see Charlie Lindgren in preseason? Like, did you see any of his games? I haven't checked them out.
I saw one of his games, and I think he gave up one goal, but he only played like one period in the game that I watched, and then Fucale came in and just really did not do anything to steal this job away from Lindgren. Dude. So that's kind of, I was really hoping Fucale was going to take a step. I was kind of saying that earlier in the pod as well, like earlier episodes of the pod, but
maybe sometime before the trade deadline, you make a call to the West Coast. Maybe you want to get yourself Sajid.
But we got no monies.
Podcast mentioned it's either him or Steve. One of them mentioned that, and I thought that's
a
nice fit. And that's the thing, though, is you're gonna have to move some cap.
Yeah,
obviously,
we
to
can't
make
even
that
afford
happen,
Tom, so it's like, how are we gonna do?
TJ Oshie has got a modified no trade too, so it makes it even harder. He might be like, okay, well, if you're gonna trade me, I want to go to a contender. I don't know what
you're gonna trade me. I only want to go back to St. Louis.
And it's just like they probably don't have the money either. You know what I mean? So they're in kind of a tough spot where, because I was gonna say, and bringing it back to the Steve Dangle podcast where they're talking about like it is kind of strange that they let Samsonov go, but like they don't have the space to pay their backup goalie $1.8 million, which was a little surprising. You know what I mean?
So it's like, either we kept Samsonov and then didn't get Darcy Kemper, or we
so
kept,
it's just not worth it.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it wasn't worth even paying him $1 million. You know what I mean? We don't have that money, but yeah, the caps are kind of interesting. I love how we just unveiled that on the pod too. Like, I don't think I'm a fake fan, but I mean, I definitely did not even think about that. Yeah, we are cash strapped, and Tom's not supposed to be out till the playoffs. Like, this isn't a Kucherov situation. So they're going to have to figure out a way to make that work. But other than that, you want to just move on to some kind of just like quick hitters that we can talk about just quickly. I just want to touch on this. Patrick Kane. He might be staying in Chicago, boys.
That's surprising to me, honestly. Like everything that came out, he was disgruntled, and like so was Taves, especially after Brandon Hagel got traded. I mean, if he wants to stay in Chicago, I respect that, honestly. You won your 3 cups. Just make your money, man. Coach the up and comings, be a leader,
and then break records.
I'd love to break records. I'd love to see him go.
Said his motivation would be to just break every Chicago record. That's what he said. I want to break every Blackhawk record, and those are some good records too. Like Stan Mikita, like some good players who lead their like franchise in points and stuff. And he's on pace to do it. So if he would just stay, so maybe that's what he'll do.
I'd love to see him like on like say like your favorite team, New York Rangers. Like that would be sick. That would. But like
I'd probably
I respect him for wanting to
I would 100% pull a Homer Simpson like meme in that situation where I would just back up into the bush and I would come out with my Patrick Kane Rangers blue.
Here's a scenario, guys. Next year, opening lineup, you got Patrick Kane on the wing. You got Connor Bedard in the center. Could you imagine that?
Oh, actually, low key, just think about that. If they, because they do have because they traded away Kirby Doc, they traded away the Brinkat, like they're stockpiling assets. Like if they, how much does that accelerate your rebuild? Like this is going to be so huge, this draft. Because whoever gets him, it's like, oh yeah, you went from being like Chicago, who might have to rebuild for 5-6 years. So all right, we got 2-3 years to go. And then this kid's just going to be so electric that we're set.
That's what I mean. I'm so excited. Obviously me just being the biggest hater, as long as he doesn't go to Montreal, I'm cooling. I'm cooling.
Do you have any teams that you would hate to see him in, Jeff?
Yeah, that would be depressing. I mean, I wouldn't even care if he was a Leaf. I'm yeah, I like the Leafs more than the Canadians, to be honest. So I second that.
I don't know. There's the one team that I would probably not want to see him go to most. I would probably say, I don't know. I'm a hater. I don't like Vegas, so probably Vegas.
I was also going to say Arizona because
yeah,
I wouldn't be mad with that because that it could prop it could help, but also it could be wasting talent. Who knows?
Well, I've debated that the best thing for the league would actually be if McDavid and Matthews were on American teams, because I think it would just open their eyes to this fucking game is sick and these players are sick at this game. But
that's true. But
not that they're not watching it, but it's just it would be more pushed in their face, Well, yeah, it would be more pushed in their face.
Yeah. I think the 2 teams I want to see Bedard go to most, and I think they're one is Chicago, prop him back up, and the second is kind of like a little dark horse one. I think he'd be cool on Philly. They need something in that organization.
Oh God, yeah.
So those are the 2 teams I'd like to see him go to.
Well, the number one team that I would like to see him go to, I said my one that I wouldn't want to see him go to is Vegas. My number one team that I would want to see him go to, and this team is just fucking it up for some reason by trying so fucking hard this year, but the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks, because we need McTavish and Bedard, and we need it in our bloodstream every fucking time they play. So
can you imagine a lineup of Zegras, McTavish, and Bedard
Troy Terry and Sam
Jamie
or whoever
Jamie
else we got.
Drysdale,
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. So that's what I want to see just based off the World Juniors. But yeah, that's just kind of a quick little random thing that I saw about Patrick Kane. But
started with Patrick Kane, ended with Connor Bedard. Let's go.
Before I let Jeffrey kind of just bang out, Jeff's gonna give us some like key players who made some teams, some key players who didn't make some teams. But my mind just kind of got rolling here, and we were all talking about this. So let's talk about besides your favorite team. So obviously the Leafs, the Caps, Ottawa, we're not going to count those. You can't pick those. Give me your number one most watchable team in your opinion. Team that you're going to watch the most outside of our three favorite teams. Okay. We'll do a snake draft. Mitch, you go first, then Jeff, then me.
Oh, come on. I was just going to say I need some time to think about it.
Okay, honestly, I can go first. I can give
you go first. You go first.
Okay, my number one. Oh, it's kind of a cop-out. It's a cop-out. I don't want to say two, but I'm gonna watch the fucking Rangers. I'm gonna fucking watch the Sherskin. I'm gonna fucking watch Panarin. I'm gonna fucking watch the kids line.
I'm really sick and tired of you, man.
I'm gonna watch the kids line. The kids line. Keandre Miller maybe be a fucking all-star this year. I don't fucking know. Adam Fox, Sherskin, Kreider, Panarin, Zibanejad. This team is sick, and people need to wake
take
up.
off that jersey, buddy. Maybe take off.
I know. I know.
You're already Homer Simpson memes.
I know. Fuck. I don't do this in other sports. I swear. I just like hockey, and I like different players.
That's still such a weird one for me. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be fun. I think my team's going to be Seattle. I've heard reports that they're looking for Shane Wright to play the whole season. Don't see him going down. You got Matty Beniers, you got the new acquisitions in Bjorkstrand and Burakovsky. I think they're going to be more competitive last year because like last year they were bad, but also they were irrelevant. Like they had nobody that you cared to watch on that team.
And like I also feel like they added enough guys where they're not going to leave Grubauer out to die. So hopefully Grubauer kind of has a more of a bounce back year.
And that's why I also pick them because they're Western Conference, because the Leafs are really going to be the only Eastern Conference team I watch. Obviously, I'll catch some Ottawa games, some Caps games, but like say Washington leaves, game's over, then Seattle's playing.
Yeah, Seattle.
They're the team I think I would go for.
They were on my list for sure.
Were they two for you?
No,
Anaheim probably.
Yeah,
there it is.
Not trying to cut Jeff's grass, but it was definitely Anaheim.
For me, I actually have. I would say for me, as much as I don't like this team, and I even just talked about it, I think it'll be really interesting to see Montreal this year because you have Kirby Dach coming in, you have Slavkovsky, you have Arbor Xhaka as well, who's another guy that just came from Hamilton in the OHL. He's a rookie. They're going to have a young team, and of course you have Caulfield coming.
Get a full season of Caulfield.
Exactly, and with St. Louis as well. Yeah, of course. So, I mean, I think that team will be really interesting to see. I also think Jake Allen's not a bad goaltender, so it'll be I'm not saying that they're going to be very good, but I think they'll be definitely in the fun category for me.
Yeah. See, so that's kind of all that I wanted to talk, like just watchable, like watchability, like how entertaining it is to watch their games. Cause we're not invested like in these teams. I mean, maybe me a little bit more than some others, but there
was one prediction I want to make about the Canadians. I just know it after I've been chirping Slavkovsky the whole preseason. He's coming against the Leafs. He's scoring 5 goals, and they're actually going to win the game. There's your prediction.
Oh,
breaks Matthews 4-goal game.
We can move on, but if you want, I do have just one more like little snake round draft that we could do here.
Sure, let's go. Let's run it.
Let's do it.
What team is there no chance you're gonna lay your eyeballs on for more than 2 minutes this season?
All right, we're snaking it. Jeff, you're starting.
Which team, like, is there just no reason for you to watch? You don't care. You just couldn't be bothered to even turn on the game. And obviously we like hockey, so we'd probably still watch them if they were the only game on, but you're not going out of your way to ever watch them.
My team, I'm not. I would rather not watch hockey than watch them. But
I mean,
you want me to go first, Jeff?
I have one, but
oh, dude, we gotta alienate the fans. You got to do it.
Oh, I'll go with it. I'll go with one. I'll go with this one. I'm gonna say the Winnipeg Jets. I don't really have much interest.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, dude.
Because
they're just kind of.
I do want to see Cole Perfetti, but at the same time, I'm not really sure.
Besides that, why do you really care?
Yeah, they're gonna just be such a meh team, I think. I mean, they could maybe be one of those teams that ends up fighting for a playoff spot, but
they're so middling for sure.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I would rather be caught dead on an island with no food, no water, just me stranded in the middle of the ocean than watch the fucking Philadelphia Flyers. I'm so done with this team, man. Get him off my screen. Gross. Move on. Next.
That was my number one, and I also did have Winnipeg, but like they were kind of my fourth team if they were going to be my honorable mention team, just because like also like they stripped Blake Wheeler of the captaincy, like all that, like it just seems so goofy over there. Like
there's a bit of
I couldn't be bothered, but because Mitch took the Flyers, which would have been my number one, I'm going to say this one just because I was really thinking about this, and I will mention that this did come up in a podcast. I'm sorry, I can't remember which podcast it was, but they were talking about the least likable teams to watch. And this one came up and I was like, oh, this is so true. The San Jose Sharks. What are you watching San Jose for? What are you watching them for? For them to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference?
For my love of James Reimer, TJ.
Yeah, James Reimer, and you just love Thomas Hertl, who is a sick player, but I mean, it's him on an island out there. Like they have a couple young players. I think Eklund might be playing. I'm not sure, but it's still like
we will touch on that.
You could say the same thing. Like Flyers might have a couple youngsters playing. That doesn't mean they're going to be any fucking good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I take it back. You're right.
Like San Jose's, like they're not even on the level of like, you know, one of those like Arizona's where it's like, well, at least Arizona's got a 5,000 seat stadium.
Exactly.
I might just fucking tune in for that one time. Like,
imagine the boys made a trip to Arizona just to watch a game at Arizona.
Imagine.
State.
I think it's happening now that you said it.
You just spoke it into existence.
That'd be so sick.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's all I got for the snake draft. So now I'm going to toss it over to my boy Jeffrey, who will maybe answer some questions like, is William Eklund on the San Jose Sharks, and other players as well. So Jeff, I'm saucing it to you, boy. Who made the teams? Who didn't?
So here, I've got some notable roster cuts, and I've got some notable players that made their teams. We'll start with the cuts. You always start with the bad news, I think, right? So you want to start with some of the cuts. To start off, I mean, we can go right with William Eklund and defenseman Ryan Merkley, who that one really shocked me, because Ryan Merkley now, I mean, where do you go if you're him and if you're the Sharks with that sort of, I mean, they're not a very good team. You would think like, this is the Sharks team. Brent Burns is gone now. This is the team. He's going to get power play time finally. They're not going to be very good. It's okay if he's, you know, a little bit more, it takes a little bit more risks, right? You want him transitioning the puck. You want him getting more comfortable moving pucks from defensive zone to the offensive zone and generating offense. That's what you want from Ryan Merkley, and he's not even going to get that opportunity to start the year. Same with William Eklund.
He's only 22 though. Like it's kind of like the Liljegren situation to compare it to the Leafs, like always, but like it was the same age. So I feel like one more year, and if he's not in the next year, then you can start being like,
but I do get what Jeff's saying, where it's almost like the perfect opportunity to just be like, it doesn't really matter if you make a bunch of mistakes, kid. Like you're gonna
play with Erik Karlsson.
Yeah, you're gonna learn this year, and you're just gonna, like, you know, it'll help you for hopefully for future seasons. But in the same vein, like Mitch is saying, a little more seasoning sometimes helps these guys, where it's like if he just dominates in the AHL and just gets more confidence versus coming up to the NHL, maybe he struggles a little bit. Maybe his D pairings getting scored on every night and he's just like completely shook of his confidence. Maybe that wouldn't be a good situation. So yeah, I kind of think it goes both ways. I guess I see it from what you're saying, Jeff, where it's like, why not just let this kid have a chance to just take the puck and say, F it, I'm doing it myself, like offense, like defense to offense. But also I guess I could see like it would kind of suck to lose fucking 50 games next year, which they
Sorry guys. Scott Harrington and Jacob Megna need to play. That's just put my foot down. They need to be on the lineup.
See, you want to watch this team? Like,
no, you're right. I take my stance back.
Eklund as well.
He should have been on. He should have been playing. That's a little brutal.
Yeah, I was surprised with Declan, but I think they just wanted him to round out his game a little bit more. I mean, he's young, right? So, and yeah, and then again, to continue, another guy we mentioned, Mike Riley didn't make Boston. Same with Nick Foligno, another name that didn't make the Boston Bruins roster. Not sure if that was for cap reasons. I'm not even sure how much money he's making.
He was
but
bad.
He was. I was going to say he was not very good. So it's not
makes
super 3.8. Yeah, 3. And okay,
8.
so that one makes a little bit more sense. For Carolina, you have Jordan Martinook. For the Blue Jackets, David Juracek did not make the team. Thomas Harley didn't make the Dallas Stars, which is a little bit surprising to me. I thought he was maybe ready to make the jump. He's a really good player. I really liked him in Mississauga in the OHL. I thought he was one of the better defensemen in his draft year. So I'm surprised by that too. But hey, I mean, sometimes you just don't have room for guys, and you want to give them more minutes. So he's a defenseman. He's still young. With Detroit, Simon Edvinsson didn't make the team. Matthias Janmark didn't make the Edmonton Oilers. Rasmus Kupari, another surprising one, did not make the LA Kings, as well as Jordan Spence and Alex Turcotte. Wow. All three of those guys did not make the LA Kings.
Franchise mode legend.
What's the Kings like roster looking like that they have that much depth all of a sudden? Like,
and that's what I'm wondering, because all those guys I believe are also on ELCs. So
yeah, they're just wasting contract years.
Or maybe not Kupari.
That's okay. I don't know.
I mean, Turcotte's numbers haven't been too impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, he's been injured.
Turcotte's kind of been one of those guys that I feel like it was like kind of, I just always hear the name and just assume he's doing well because he was just so hyped coming out. And I just kind of haven't followed him.
The ELCs they have are Quentin Byfield, Kaliev, and Jarrett Anderson Dolan. I don't know.
Yeah, Jarrett Anderson Dolan.
Yeah, I think it's smart to let Turcotte go down.
I think we.
Yeah,
talked
he's
about
also.
This.
Yeah, he's young.
We talked about this on an earlier pod, but what a big year for Q for Quentin Byfield to just like. Finally, really needs to make a mark. But yeah, that's kind of shocking about those three, Jeff.
Yeah, those were definitely three that surprised. I mean, Jordan Spence, he's young as well. Another prospect though that I think people maybe slept on a little bit. He's a good player, and I think certainly if not next year, the year after, he will be making that LA Kings roster. Another big one out of Nashville, who I thought, again, this is a team, and maybe it's sort of like a Nick Robertson situation where you maybe have some guys who have played a little bit more than this guy, and you want him to have a little bit more playing time. Philip Thomasino did not make the Nashville Predators. Another surprising.
That is shocking. What?
Yeah. And I believe he had a good season last year. I haven't actually looked at his numbers. I don't
32 points, 76.
It's not too bad. And I mean, that's
over a point
games
per game in the A.
I'm not sure what the call was there. Very surprising. Another young guy, though. A lot of these guys are 2001s, right? So, I mean, they're still just getting used to playing pro hockey. I think
Mitch.
He's another guy. He was a little bit slight framed too. I don't think he's the biggest body. So, I mean,
are you walking back that Nashville pick? Or
maybe they have Michael McCarron on the roster. What are they doing? Why do they not have?
Is this weird. Money?
Oh
no, they have.
He's on an ELC.
Yeah, they have 1.6. I could afford him. Cole.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, he can't make much.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There might
about that.
There might be something deeper there. We might have to dig into that, like in the future. Like maybe he got hurt in camp and now he's just like recovering, getting better at this point. Like, because there has to be something deeper. There's no way a guy who puts up 36 points doesn't come back and make the team the next year.
There's also a surprising one. I don't think you touched on that I wanted to add. Ty Smith of the Pittsburgh Penguins acquired.
Actually, that was another name who was just about to come up.
Yeah.
So we can do him right now. Another guy.
He got sent down.
Yep.
Man, like he played in the NHL last 3. I don't know if that's just for cap reasons. It might be.
It's so weird. Like, bro, how often have we seen like this many guys who it seems like are like solid quality NHL guys that are just clearing waivers because literally everyone has no money?
Yeah. I know it's not very often that you see it.
That was a shocker to me because like traded for one of their better defensemen in Marino.
Yeah.
You figured they were going to give this guy maybe like a shot on the power play with like Letang or on the top line. It's good offensive defenseman, only 22 years old. And they send him down. It must be, I think it's for cap reasons, though. If I
must be for cap reasons. But hey,
Yeah.
maybe this guy was just poo in camp.
Devils just gave up on him.
They didn't want to put a Pierre Olivier Joseph on waivers, I think, is also one of the reasons. And he could, and Ty Smith could go down, kind of like the Nick Robertson thing again, even though Ty Smith has played 2 years in the league.
Yeah, makes sense.
Another couple guys. TJ, your favorite team, New York Rangers, cut Julien Gauthier, who we did mention earlier. Philadelphia. This is another surprising one where it's like, this is a young defenseman. This is a terrible team. I mean, maybe you could say they have some guys on defense, so it's a little bit more understandable. But Cam York, another guy that didn't make Philadelphia, I was a little bit shocked by that too, because I thought, again, that's another guy you throw him on the bottom pairing, let him get some NHL experience.
Yeah,
not really sure what they were thinking there. Again,
we didn't really touch on is like, what if San Jose and Philadelphia are just trying to suck? Like, what if they just want Bedard? Like, they could just be like, why would we play our youngsters who are going to be trying their 100%
especially
hardest?
D-men.
Like,
especially D-men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Who are just going to get shelled every night.
Yeah. Why don't we just fucking be bad with fucking our older players so our rookies aren't losing 55 games a year and we can go get Bedard or like a top pick. It could be part of it.
And then, of course, Nick Robertson, another name. We had already sort of touched on that, though. And the last one I have is Ville Heinola did not make the Winnipeg Jets. So just another reason not to watch them this season.
just one more to tick onto that. So, yeah, that's a pretty solid
surprising list. There's a couple surprising names.
Definitely, and then there was quite a few surprising names, and so that was negative. We'll go to the positive here. We'll finish strong with some feel good stories about guys that did make their teams.
Yep.
So we'll start with Anaheim. We did mention it briefly, but I think this was very well deserved. My big boy Mason McTavish, gold medal winner. He's going to be on that team. I mean, I assume you guys don't have any agreement with that.
No, he was good even at the start of last year.
Oh, yeah. Last year, I mean, he looked obviously physically ready even to be able to play at the NHL for sure. Did not look out of place. So another young guy to make his team. Dylan Gunther made the Arizona Coyotes.
That's going to be interesting. Like, because he's if I'm not mistaken, you'd know better, Jeff. He's a goal scorer, is he not?
Oh, yeah. And he worked really hard. He's a guy, he's got a lot of skill. I think he's a little bit more of a raw prospect, but in terms of just, again, generating offense, being reliable in your own zone, at least at a young age, being somewhat reliable and being a guy that can generate offense. I mean, he's a player that deserves a shot.
A pretty solid offensive threat, like coming out. But like you said, there was a lot to clean up on his game. But for a team like them, like, hey, what he could be given a pretty big role here and maybe put up a pretty nice season as a rookie.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by raw. I mean he's just sort of maybe his hands are a little bit better than his feet,
things
or
to
vice
clean
versa.
up, right?
But all in all, I mean the work ethic is there and the talent is there, and especially the IQ. So again, he's really good at generating offense, like very good. So I wasn't surprised by that. Two guys on Buffalo. Oh, sorry, actually, unless you guys had anything else to add about Gunther.
No.
You're good.
Buffalo Sabres, maybe you guys have something to add about these two guys. We have Jack Quinn, who was phenomenal with Rochester last year. I guess this guy's only gotten better as he's continued to develop. Really happy for him. Excuse me. And then JJ Paterka is also another name. Another guy made Buffalo.
Oh, dude, I'm just looking at Quinn's numbers. Filthy, 61 points in 45 games in the
Oh my God, he was just absolutely he literally tore the AHL apart.
Jack Quinn.
Jack Hughes?
Quinn, man. Jack Quinn.
Oh, Quinn Hughes. Oh, sorry. Jack Quinn. Oh,
I didn't even realize what you're doing at first. That was like the biggest dad joke we've had on the podcast so far.
That one goes in the Hall of Fame. Jack Hughes? Oh no, Quinn Hughes. Oh no, Jack Quinn.
I didn't realize how disgusting of a year he had.
Yeah, he was an absolute animal. Like I wasn't prepared to see him put up those kind of numbers. I was really interested to see that they decided to let him play. Because again, he was another guy who's like, oh, well, he's big enough and he certainly has the skill to play in the NHL last year, maybe, at least in their bottom six. But I think they're just like, you know what? No, we're going to send him down. He's going to get some really meaningful ice time in Rochester. And he blew that opportunity out of the water. So yeah, definitely very deserving.
Does it sting at all that like JJ would be like an Ottawa Senator if you picked him? Like, I think he went one pick after you and he'd be playing on the top line with Tim Stützle at this moment.
It does hurt. They're very good friends. They're both German. So
he was in the German World Juniors when Stützle was there. It was Stützle, JJ Peterka, and one other guy. I can't remember. It wasn't Noel Gunler, was it?
Oh, it's on Chicago.
But anyway, there were three Germans and they just
Lucas
lit it
Reichel.
up together. Lucas Reichel. Those three just lit it up together. And I remember Ottawa in that draft. Me and Jeff were like texting. I'm like, here it is. Like, they're going to get JJ. And then they just didn't take him. Next pick, he goes. I was like, no.
Robbie Jarventi.
Robbie Jarventi?
Jarventi, yeah, sure. But yeah, that's kind of a fumble.
But anyway, that was just kind of my meme about that. But you can move on to some other guys who made the team.
Yeah. Reese made Carolina. Alex Vlasic made Chicago. Here were, one guy, Ty Dellandrea, who made Dallas. And as well, this was another surprising name for me, a guy who absolutely tore the OHL a new one last year. And I actually saw him play maybe 3 times last season. And
I saw him play too. I know who you're talking about, buddy.
Wyatt Johnson.
Never mind. That's not who I thought you were talking about.
Oh, Wyatt Johnson of the Windsor Spitfires, phenomenal player. He's a guy that when I was watching him in his draft year for the OHL, he played for the Toronto Marlboros in the GTHL. And I think every single time I watched that team play, there was like at least one scout around me that was like, yeah, that kid's going to be an NHL player very soon. Like people were very high on him. He was never super noticeable, like not like like a Shane Wright or a Brandt Clark, but I think he was just one of those guys where you watch him and you're like, how does this guy not continue to play very well and continue to develop? So yeah, shout out to him and Ty Dellandrea, who finally made Dallas as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Elmer Soderblom made the Detroit Red Wings.
That's another huge guy, isn't it? Isn't he like 6'8"?
Yeah.
I saw massive. His skating was good too. Like he looks good.
Oh yeah, no, he's another guy. He's not the fastest, but he's definitely mobile, good edge work. He can skate in an inch.
Doesn't look clunky. Yeah, for sure.
Certainly. Another big name that made the Edmonton Oilers finally, Dylan Holloway. So it'll be really interesting to see where they start him. I haven't actually heard where they plan to play him, but he's a really interesting one. Okay, here I was gonna say this one for last, but I have a couple other ones that I'll save. This is another one, big one. LA Kings, a make this time. Brandt Clark, notable.
That's who I thought you were talking about earlier.
A notable. Oh yes, Brandt Clark, notable admission from Team Canada World Juniors, but somehow slides into this LA Kings lineup. Good for him. I've heard people say negative things about him, but I mean, I've seen him play for a long time. He was the captain in Don Mills. He's a captain, I believe, in Barrie. He's been a leader everywhere he's gone. And I mean, there's not many things you can really say about his game other than maybe his linear skating speed. But other than that, I mean, that's something that he can definitely improve upon, and he will.
Yeah, with an NHL weight room and NHL skating coaches, strength training, like all that will improve. But also, he's just like, he's a guy who, you get cut from Team Canada. You like to see that he did end up making the LA Kings, because it kind of did feel like a major slight that he was not on that team.
Yeah, maybe I was very shocked.
I'm not sure, but
I certainly was someone that had no idea why they ended up leaving him off. But good
to see him make the team though. Feel good story. He made the team this year in the NHL.
A couple bigger names we have here down this other side of the list that I have. Minnesota Wild, Marco Rossi, coming off of injuries and COVID last season. Glad to see. Yeah, really happy. I mean, one of the best players in the OHL of the last 4 or 5 seasons, and just too good to be in the American League at this point, and he's fully healthy. So I think he's going to be great.
That's another guy on that team. Like, I don't know if you're getting to it, but did Boldy make the team as well?
I believe he did. He's not on this list, but maybe I believe that there's no way he didn't make that team.
Yeah,
he's
so
on that.
like Boldy, Rossi, Kirill, that team, as much as they did lose some pieces, they do have youngsters filling in. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've drafted really well, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. They've done well for themselves. And then of course getting like a Kaprizov. They have a very underrated organization. Of course, I'm sure everybody's heard about this one, and we talked about it earlier, but Slavkovsky and Arbor both making Montreal. Slavkovsky, not as big of a surprise as maybe some would have thought, but Xhaka, again, another guy who I'd mentioned earlier, he played in Hamilton last season in the OHL. He wasn't picked in his draft year. He won an OHL championship. He was very feared. He's really big body defenseman. He's got a good shot. Someone that I think will be very interesting to watch, and certainly a reason why I would watch the Canadiens blue line this season. He's a fun player.
Might lead the league in penalty minutes. I swear to God, every preseason game I saw him in, he got at least one penalty.
Yeah, he's a feisty ass player, and I think the Canadiens fans will love him for that for sure.
I bet they will.
Oh yeah. Another guy. This is a notable addition for the Nashville Predators, and I'm not sure if you guys saw that video going around, but Cody Glass.
He finally makes it.
Yeah, and again, deservedly so. It's great to hear. I can't remember who the GM is of Nashville, but he had said, the guys want you around. Everybody wants you here. You're playing well enough, and we want you to come to Europe for the NHL Europe series. And he started crying. It was awesome to see. He's another young guy, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Simon Nemec will be on the New Jersey Devils.
He made coming out team. Of the gate.
Wow.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
That's surprising.
That's surprising. Yeah, as a young defenseman to make the team like instant out of the draft.
Yeah, and we had said earlier in a previous episode about what kind of role they're going to play him in, because they were playing him heavy minutes into the preseason. Like they were just like, all right, kid, play hockey.
See what you can get.
Yeah, and I think they really trust him. What role are they going to have him in? I don't know yet, but he's going to get minutes.
Be one to follow, though.
For sure. Another guy, TJ, your favorite team, Vitali Kravitzov, will be on the opening night roster for the New York Rangers. I'm not sure how you're feeling about that one.
Where are they going to play him, guys? This team is too loaded. I'm telling you.
It's interesting, right? I mean,
Kravitzov's a fourth liner.
Where else do you play him, really?
It's crazy. Maybe he plays second line, but I don't know. Like, what do you do with Vetrano then? Like, it's just kind of like they're so deep. Anyway, you break up the kids line to play Kravitzov, and you move down like Philip Hedl. I don't know. You could do that. Move down Capo.
There's certainly some mix and match options. Yeah.
Capo Cack is the one guy that I'm kind of the most down bad on. Like, he's really got to prove it this year. As much hate as Laugh gets, Laugh actually like played well down the stretch last season and played well in the playoffs. Capo was okay in the playoffs. So anyway,
fair enough. Jake Sanderson will be with my Ottawa Senators. Another name we mentioned earlier. Cole, is it Kepke? Kopke? I don't know how the hell to say this guy's name, but it's K-O-E.
I have no idea who.
P-K-E. Cole Kepke, I believe.
He's making no idea who that is, to be honest.
He's on the Lightning.
I'm saying it right. Yeah, he made the Lightning's opening night roster. Another guy who was drafted in 2020, although I believe he is our age, Niels Aman. Yes, he was drafted in 2020, but he's our age. He's born in 2000. That doesn't know. He made the Vancouver Canucks opening night roster, a guy that played in the SHL last season. A little bit of a surprising pick. Yeah, he was like seventh rounder, wasn't taken in his draft year or the year after that just to say. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see a guy like that. Of course, you have Shane Wright as well. And I mean, that's all the guys that I have on this list here.
Obviously, I'm sure there's others, but those are kind of just the big notable youngsters that kind of broke in. And that was a fire list, Jeffrey. Thank you for coming up with that. That really did the legwork for us today.
Oh yeah, and then if you want me to, I can just transition right into the LTIR stuff that
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to touch on. Because yes, there was some LTIR news that I wanted to share that I saw from Cap Friendly. We did touch on it a little bit earlier, like you guys had said. So the Leafs, for example, like their total cap hit is 84.649 million. They have $0 in cap space, and as expected, their LTI roster is only $4 from the cap. It's the best LTIR placement that Cap Friendly said they have ever seen in the cap era. And that is actually not the only team that I was going to say has worked some magic, because there is another list I have of 5 teams, one of which who did even better than the Leafs in this department.
There it is.
So getting within, like, as Cap Friendly would say, getting within a couple $1,000 is extremely hard, let alone a couple hundred. And so here's your top 5 with teams that have mastered maximizing their LTIR relief. At number 5, we have the Edmonton Oilers with $167, which is, again, wow, I mean,
that's super impressive.
Brilliant work. And of course, here we have the trendsetters, the trailblazers of the trend, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
The Cuck Monsters? What?
Yes, at $33. The Tampa Bay Lightning sit in fourth.
In fourth.
Mm-hmm.
At third, at $16, we have the Vegas Golden Knights. Congrats to their analytics and their finance department. Good job, guys. And of course, we mentioned the Leafs, second best ever. But for the first time in cap history, there is somebody who had a perfect LTIR placement. Literally, it's $0. It is $0 freaking dollars. The Vancouver Canucks. Are at $0.
That's so
first time it's ever happened, and it's the first time that a team has even gotten to $4. So shout out to all those teams, but especially Vancouver and Toronto.
Yeah. Obviously, all those teams pulled off a masterclass, but like these guys work like 364 days a year, like managing this cap. But this is their Super Bowl, like opening day. This is their Super Bowl, man.
Oh, yeah.
And can you imagine the scouting, like the staff, whatever departments, like of the Leafs, of the of Tampa, of all those teams. They're like, let's go. We did it.
$4.
Like so gassed over $4. Like Vancouver's like, we're at $0. We did it. Like, that's so gotta be so cool. Like, hey, you set a record. That's fire. Like in any line of work, you set a record. That's pretty cool. So shout out. Hey, it takes a whole organization, hey boys. Like hockey's a lot deeper than the guys on the ice. It takes top to bottom organization. You don't get to have all these good players on the ice if these guys don't do these gymnastics to get it done. So
exactly,
for sure. So boys, I got 2 things that I want to touch on before we wrap up this extremely jam-packed podcast. I'm just going to quickly tell you guys and the fans some games that you should be looking out for until our next podcast on Friday. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers play tonight. That's going to be a good one to watch. You guys should check that out. The Caps play tomorrow. They play against Boston at home. The Leafs play tomorrow against Montreal. So those are going to be some good games. And then also your nightcap, you got Vancouver versus Edmonton, which is just, you want to see McDavid on opening day. Trust me, you're going to want to see it. And then the Kraken play the Ducks. That's going to be such a sick game. So I'm hyped for that one. So we'll probably definitely have to watch that Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. And then lastly, we'll talk about Thursday, because we'll mention some more games on Friday when we talk about the pod. But Thursday, we got the Caps versus Washington in Toronto. We got Ottawa versus Buffalo, which that's just a shout out to Jeffrey. Also, Craig Anderson coming back to play his old team. So he's definitely going to shut you guys up. And then some other notables are the Wild are playing the Rangers, which is going to be a good game. The Flames playing Colorado. That's a good one. And then just some kind of it's kind of more like fluffer games, but like they could be fun to watch in terms of maybe just one team just whooping them is Vegas is playing Chicago, so maybe we see some like Jekyll magic or something that game. And then Pittsburgh's playing Arizona, which I think is Arizona's first game in Arizona, so you might want to tune into that one.
Oh, I thought it was later. Must watch.
It might be.
I thought it was
I'm
later
not sure.
in the season. Maybe, I don't know.
It's saying they're at home, unless my app is bugging. It could be bugging. It says they're.
We'll see. If they are, that'd be sick.
Yeah. But so yeah, those are just some quick notable games. But anyway, to end off our podcast, the boys have came up with an idea to do a fantasy draft. So we're all going to draft 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goalie. And throughout the whole season, we're going to keep track of each category: goals, assists, plus minus, hits, you get it, goalies, wins, etc. And then each category will be worth 1 point. So let's say by the end of the season, Mitchell's team has 70 goals. Jeff's team has 71 goals. My team has 72 goals. That means I get 1 point. Whoever has the most points wins our podcast fantasy draft. And I think that they owe the other people a case of Prime. I don't care how you get it. I don't care how much you got to spend. I don't care where you ship it from. You owe the winner a case of Prime each. That's going to be 2 cases of Prime. One from each person to the winner. So,
all right.
Yep.
I'm in for that. I'm in for that.
So, boys, how do we want to decide this draft order? Because this is a big deal.
Do we have like a Google randomizer we can do?
Okay, I can pull it up if you guys just want to quickly just talk. Just think out loud of what you're feeling for this draft.
I mean, I'm not giving y'all no strategies. I have a couple players in mind.
All right. Well, I got a question then. Are we going to be doing like only 1 center or just 3 forwards, no positions? Like, how do we feel about all that?
I feel like
are we trying to take 1 center, 2 wingers, or just whatever? Who cares?
I say free for all. I say 3 forwards, 2 defensemen.
I was gonna say 1 center, and then it doesn't matter the wing, but what you can be a tiebreaker, TJ. Whatever you want to do.
Let's just do whatever, just whatever forwards, because I feel like it doesn't really matter all that much. We'll make a stipulation if we do like all centers, then face off can't be a category.
Okay.
Agreed?
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, deal. So I got our list here with our names. Who would like to tell me how many times I should press the wheel here?
Go 3 times.
Oh, 1 sec. All right, you can see I'm not cheating. Okay, it's not focusing, but I'm white, Mitch is yellow, Jeff is blue.
So this one, it doesn't count.
It's Mitch with the first overall pick.
There it is.
And then
on the 3rd one, right? Not this one, but the next one.
That's Mitch again. I might just have to take Mitch out if he gets it again. Oh my God. This is awful.
Did I get the first?
You got the first pick. Yeah. Now I'm doing the second pick. And Jeff gets the second pick.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll go Mitch, Jeff, me, Jeff, Mitch. You get it? We'll snake.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Is points a category? So are you doing goals, assists, points?
Yeah, we could do that if you want.
Or is it just goals and assists?
No, we could do goals, assists, points, because some teams might combine for more points, but have less goals and assists all around, right?
All right. So I think this is a tough lap. I'll go McDavid. I'll go McDavid 1. I'll go McDavid 1.
It's tough not to take him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Austin Matthews.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Well, then I guess you leave me no choice, and I'm gonna take Uri Slav. I'm kidding. I'm taking Nathan
Lock it
McKinnon.
in.
I'm taking McKinnon.
All right, McKinnon.
Nice. Okay.
No, now I get another pick. I go
yeah.
back to back. So I'm going McKinnon with my first pick. With my second pick, I gotta go Drat.
Nice.
Draisaitl?
Nice.
Okay.
My second pick, I would gladly like to draft to the Team Jeffs. Cale Makar.
Oh, I was wondering if someone was gonna snake it.
I'm gonna go
Mitch for 2.
I'll take Adam Fox from TJ.
Damn.
Oh,
Deadly. You get back-to-back picks, eh?
And I'll take Shesterkin as well.
Oh no, this guy's trying to blow up my draft.
yeah, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take Andre Vasilevsky.
Fuck. Oh no.
Those were your next 2 picks, weren't they? Fox and Shesterkin.
All right. Well, just so I'm not just standing here in blank noise, I'm going Kirill. So I got my 3 forwards already. And both y'all aren't taking a goalie, so I can wait on a goalie. So that means that I'm taking Roman Josi.
Okay,
Nice.
good.
Nice.
Good pick. So Jeff, you're up again.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna go another forward here. Oh, give me. Jonathan Huberdeau.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
That's a nice
good
one.
pick.
I think I'm also gonna go with another forward. I mean, I have 2 picks. So next pick, Mitch Marner.
Nice.
And my second defenseman is gonna be a little bit of a sleeper, but I think I'm gonna go with Moritz Seider.
Oh no, that's a great pick.
He's got points. He's got hits. So there it is.
That was a good all-around type of player.
So Marner and Seider.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Roman Josi.
I already
You already
took
got
him,
taken.
bro. Sorry.
All right, tag him.
Oh,
Right before you.
Victor Hedman.
All right.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. That's probably where I was going. Well, fuck. I'm kind of
I
thinking
only have one more player.
I'm thinking in the same realm. No, Mitch, you're done, bro. You already drafted.
No, I have one more player.
Oh no, you do have one more. That's right. That's
one
right.
More forward.
All right. Well, I'm ending my draft here. So my goalie, I'm going. Maybe this is a dark horse pick. I don't know. I'm going with the 3rd goalie taken in a draft where there's only 2 clear goalies to take. I'm going UC Saros. I think that's
nice pick.
I think that's
Nice
a good pick.
And then I got to take one more defenseman to end my draft. And I'm like, I'm trying to think in my head someone to get hits because I want hits as well. I feel like my team's not that physical for that stat, but fuck it, I might just be going all in on points. So I'm taking John Carlson.
Nice.
You how many players left do you have?
Jeff has one more pick to go.
I just need one more. And for me, my one more pick, I would gladly take Matthew Tkachuk.
That's a good one.
That's a good physical forward all-around player.
They got traded for each other, and I have both of them.
Hey.
I'm debating about my last one.
There's some guys. There's some guys, Mitch.
What do you need, a defenseman or a
forward?
Yeah, it's how are you building your team? You kind of already got a bit of physicality.
I'm between. Okay. It's kind of a TJ team for me, but
you drafted my dream team.
I think my last pick, a little bit of everything. This is going to be a dark horse. Could be a bad year. Probably won't be, but could be. Last player, Alex Ovechkin.
Let's go.
Oh, nice.
No, bro, he 50 goals at least. I don't know if any of my players are going to score 50 goals. So how can you hate?
But I just did because he had 150 hits too.
Yeah, no, that's
40.
true. and he's gonna throw the hits. And if we count shots as a category, which we can, you have the number one shot taker besides Matthews.
It was between Ovechkin, Crosby, and Kyle Connor.
I like it. No, I think for the all around game, I like it. I like the pick. So I'll read off my team. I don't know if you guys got your teams pulled up, but
I need to write it down.
If not, just write them down real quick. I'm gonna just talk about my team. So my 3 forwards are Kirill Kaprizov, Nathan McKinnon, and Leon Draisaitl. And when I'm looking at it, I got a lot of guys who can put up points, and I'm hoping Leon can score some goals. Kirill's going to score some goals, but I don't know too much about, maybe like the hits, or if we count like block shots and all that, that might be a lesser category for me. But Yossi and Carlson on defense, same thing. Like, I feel like I'm going all out for these plus minus points, goals, assists kind of stats. And then I got UC Saros in net. So what if Saros steals the Vezina, has better stats in every category than those two?
Dark horse pick, buddy.
And I fucking win the 2 cases of prime because of Saros. I'd love it.
It's possible.
I got McDavid, Marner, Ovi forwards.
Like it.
Adam Fox and Moritz Seider with Shesterkin in the net.
Oh, that's
Love
a dirty team.
I have Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, and Jonathan Huberdeau at forward.
That's so filthy.
Dude,
and then I have Victor Hedman and Cale Makar on the back end.
Jeff might have this. Andre
the GOAT.
I feel like it was a little rigged being in the middle in some way or fashion. Jeff managed to finesse from that middle slot. Like, we had to go back to back, and we were thinking like position wise, Jeff was just picking the scraps. Like,
Jeff might be the winner here. He might get to the prime, but we'll see though.
Hey, UC Saros, you never know, boys.
This is 3 good teams.
Boys, hockey is officially back. And if you didn't know that already, look at this podcast. What a time to be alive, boys. And I can't wait to do another one with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
We'll be back on Friday, and we got lots of games to watch. Y'all got a lot of homework, but if you enjoyed this episode, this has been Off the Post NHL. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube at Off the Post Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe, share it with a friend. As always, have a good one.